We're going to read chapter 22 in Bridge Home. Here we go. The graveyard. I looked around the graveyard but couldn't find you. Where's Ruku? She couldn't have gone far. Arul glanced nervously into the shadows. Cutie's disappeared too. He must be with her. We have to find them. My voice came out all panicky. I had a vision of a ghost swallowing you whole. Let's split up and search. Something rustled the branches of a tree. I'm not scared, Muthu announced in a thin voice. I'm not scared. We walked a few feet farther into the graveyard, and suddenly you popped out right in front of us, from where you must have curled up on top of a grave. Muthu squealed. Quiet, you fool, Arul said. It's just Ruku. I know, Muthu claimed, though his voice was all shaky. I was just pretending to be scared for fun. You curled up in a tight ball again, and I threw my arms around you. Cutie sat nearby, his ears pricked up. You should be scared of those living men on the bridge, Muthu, Arul said, not scared of these dead ones. He was right. The living posed a greater threat, yet my skin felt clammy and my throat dry. Clammy is, do you know what that means? It's like unpleasantly damp. Like if you have a fever, you might feel clammy. You feel like sticky. Anyway, let's keep reading. Can't believe you wanted to run back just to get our money, Arul scolded Muthu. You might have ended up in a graveyard. I did end up in a graveyard, Muthu retorted. Dead in a graveyard, Arul said. Those men couldn't squash an ant dead, Muthu said. They were too muddled to aim their blows properly. You whimpered and I stroked your back. For days you'd been so much surer of yourself. Now your fists were clenched tight, like they used to be when Appa was angry. You were silent for what felt like forever. Then you whispered, Go back, Bridge? We have to stay here now. We had to run away from those men, like we ran away from Appa. Amma, you whispered, I miss her too. But we're together. Squeezing my hand tight, you buried your face in Cutie's fur. It's good we moved, Arul said. See what flat beds we have here, Ruku? Nice and cool. Beds? You patted your grave tentatively, like you were considering his words. Nice, cool. That's right. I forced myself to sound as bright as possible. High-class hotel we're staying in, Muthu piped up. But despite the super beds, I'll climb that big banyan tree over there and sleep somewhere up in the branches. Oh, up where the ghosts live? Arul said. I've heard ghosts usually hide in banyan tree branches. Or right here on the grass, Muthu stretched himself out. The grass is wet, I said. You'll catch a cold. Pick out your very own grave, Muthu. Arul spread his hands expansively. So many to choose from. The drizzle had stopped, and the moon was peeping out from behind the clouds. Come, Ruku, Arul continued. Let's show Muthu what to do. He shook you by the hand and led you around, making a big show of touching each grave, like he was testing them for smoothness. Muthu stopped at the grave closest to the one Arul chose. Arul peered through the darkness until he could make out the inscription on the grave marker. So Muthu is going to sleep above Mr. Vincent's remains. Thank you, Mr. Vincent. Now your turn, Ruku. Which one do you want? You chose another one close by and lay back. I sat beside you and smoothed your brow. You shivered for a long time, whether from fear or being wet by the cool drizzle, I wasn't sure. When you finally grew still, I thought you'd fallen asleep. But then you said, Story? Story, Muthu agreed. Story, Arul echoed. Once upon a time, I said, 2 sisters and 2 brothers lived in a magical land. About time you added us, Muthu said. I could hear a smile in his voice. Alrighty, so in this chapter, Arul, Muthu, Viji, and Ruku and Cutie, they have now moved to a new home in a graveyard. Do you think that this is a better home, or was the bridge a better home? I want to know what you guys think. All right, well, thanks for reading with me, and I will see you for the next chapter. Bye.